Always cut towards yourself. Everybody knows that. Hey, look. Turbo.
Well, here we go, let's get those wheels out on the road. It may get dusty, but that's the way she goes. We'll build some greasy old cars and drink our AGV. Hey, don't you know, it's partly built.
It's been about a month since I've been in the garage. And as you can see, nothing's happened with the axle. Because it's been cold. I've been busy. Christmas is coming. So all kinds of family stuff to do. And like, it's been cold and there's been a lot of snow and I just haven't wanted to be out here. So I'm out here tonight. I was just cleaning some stuff out of the car. And I might start cutting on this axle. Since I've got time. I've still only got my cordless grinder. I really should just go out and buy a corded one so that, you know, I can cut things for more than 30 seconds before the battery dies. But in the meantime, we'll make that work. So I'm going to start out by cutting out these chunks I've got with a paint marker. Then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to draw a straight line across it. Like I'll measure from the bottom up, or from the top down, whatever, on both sides. And do a dead ass straight line. That way I don't have to worry about changing the arc. As I slide it together, the arc should remain the same, theoretically. The only problem you run into with that is I might have more of a lip on one side to the other, but I imagine that's something we can deal with when the time comes. Yeah, I'll grab some tools and I'll start hacking on this. I'm too lazy to go in the house and grab the GoPro, so you're not getting a time lapse on this one. I'm sure none of you will really miss it anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna get going on this. I got the fire going and I drug this transmission in out of the trunk of my car. This is not my transmission, this is Ryan's. I have a different T5 that I still have to order parts for, so he's not coming to get this anytime right away. So I may end up using this for mock-up if I get my bell housing ordered in time, so that I can kind of figure out a transmission mount and stuff. I have been waiting for my engine mounts for 5 weeks, and they still haven't shown up. I don't know. I think they probably lost them. They claim it was due to bad weather out east, but if I don't see them here in the next week or so, I'm going to cancel them and I'll order another set. I'm just ordering generic like LS style frame mounts to modify and put in here. But I can also order like a Transdapt small block Chevy /LS big block Chevy, whatever it is, whole tubular cross member with the mounts on it. And I may end up doing that and then just making my own side plates for the engine and welding that in the center, because I think, like, I had to put a cross member of some sort anyway in there, and I think that may be the way to go. And like, I've been cheaping out. I tried to order $60 mount assemblies. Maybe it's time to just order a $170 Transdapt one and then just be done with the messing around. They are a bolt-in style. I'll probably end up welding it in, but we'll see. I'm hoping that those mounts show up. They keep pushing back when I'm supposed to see them, but they were in Lancaster, New York 3.5 weeks ago, so we'll see, I guess. Well, I did what I could, but it turns out that the Walther batteries for that Walther grinder, when the charger charges them full, shuts off. Then the batteries drain off in the cold and die. It doesn't turn back on and off to keep the battery up. So, of course, that one was dead. Then the one on the grinder was dead. So, I tried using the Sawzall. And I screwed 2 Sawzall blades fairly quick, because this is some good forged steel here, and it's hard cutting. But I did manage to swap batteries back and forth with the charger enough to get one piece cut out. And I actually, I'm a little shy on this side. I got to cut a little more. And then I just started marking this side to start cutting it down. And of course my batteries are dead again. And you know what? I'm gonna let it charge and maybe I'll come out tomorrow, or maybe not, I don't know. But as I was fiddling around with this axle, I realized, hey, I'm an idiot. That's a welding table. I have clamps for this. that makes it a lot nicer. So yeah, we're gonna come at this again with either fresh batteries or a corded grinder. And we'll see if we can't get the cuts done. Then we can flip everything over, double check all our geometry. I may or may not get my machinist cousin to come help me with that. And we'll tack it together with my little welder. And then I'll have a ticketed guy fully weld it for me. And then after he fully welds it all back together, we'll plate in the backside and possibly the front, but I think, or I guess this would be the front, but we'll plate in the backside, and that way it still, you know, looks like an I-beam, but it's plenty strong. I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll come out here another night. All right, it's a couple days later. It's Wednesday now, and we're back to this. That battery was fully charged. I made one cut and 3/4 of the next cut down, and it died. Oh, it's back up to 2 bars now. It was at 1. So I'm gonna give that another minute to think about what it's did wrong, and then we can continue cutting this. While I'm waiting for the grinder to think about what it's done wrong, I got a delivery today from what is quickly becoming my favorite store, because you'll never guess this, but they sell a turbo. It's like a GT35, I don't know, clone knockoff. But it was $184.99 Canadian. And then I used my Viver points, so then after the $3 million in taxes, I paid $184.65. So we're gonna open this up and see what $185 of Chinese turbo can get you. And that's 185 Canadian. So remember, that's like 110 US, 120 US, and that includes shipping. I ordered this Sunday night and it showed up today, which is Wednesday. Not bad, especially in Canada where there's basically no such thing as overnight shipping. So let's see what this turbo looks like. And sorry about all the, you know, steam. It's very cold in here. The wood stove, I'm pretty much out of wood, so barely using it. But it's only 3 degrees below zero today, so it's not that bad in here. So what do you get for $185? Let's find out together. Always cut towards yourself. Everybody knows that. Hey, look. Turbo. All right. So inlet gasket, outlet gasket, oil fittings, oil drain. Well, not the fitting, but the gasket for the oil fitting and the gasket for the oil drain. Good, good. Lots of cardboard. Good for starting my own stove. Oh! I am not gonna lie. I'm a turbo virgin. This is my first turbo that I've ever bought. I've opened lots of them. I've installed lots. I've been a diesel mechanic for over a decade. Done lots of turbo stuff, but this is my first foray into the gas turbo thing. I have driven one LS with a turbo, and that was Normie's truck, and that was life-changing. But here we go. One turbo, and it even says Viver on it. It's not even in Chinese writing. It is a turbocharger model GT3582R, application 2.5 to 6.0 liter engine. And it's even got a serial number. They cared enough to put a serial number on it. And I think it's even liquid cooled. Because I have 4 fittings here. I have oil supply, oil drain, and then I have coolant. So I have a liquid cooled turbo. It is not very big. So we will see how good it really is for their 6 liter claims. But the plan with this is Josh and I are trying to get the Crown Vic chassis underneath the Galaxy starting in the new year sometime. And we're trying to get it ready for Miles of Mayhem. And the plan is to transfer the 390 over to that chassis so we can keep the 390, and we want to put a stick shift behind it. And then I have a nitrous plate that I got from Nooch, so we can, you know, have fun and party time and shift gears. But because life and debt gets in the way, maybe we don't have time to get the 390 and the stick shift in. So I already have a shift kit in that transmission, and I still have the full kit, so I can go back through and I can drop the plate and the valve body and I can make some bigger holes. So I can make that automatic a little nastier, and we can put this on the 4.6. And that engine burns so much oil, I'm sure it has plenty of ring gap for 5 to 8 pounds of boost, and even 8 might be pushing it, so we'll see. But it has a 0.7 AR, whatever that means. I'm sure I could look it up and know, but it's all clockable, which is good. Comes with some nice caps. There's not a ton of flashing in the casting, like it all looks pretty good. The impeller spins nice, and there is zero play. I've seen a lot of new turbos for like, there's a little play on the inlet side. The exhaust side's nice and tight. I've seen a lot of stock turbos with a lot more play than that. And I'm guessing for my $185 that this is not a ball bearing turbo. It's probably just a journal bearing, like bushings. So it's really common to see play in them because they fill with oil and it expands when it gets hot. But I mean, it looks cool at the very least. So I'm excited. I'm kind of sad that I got to put it on the shelf for, you know, at least 3 months before we even think about using it. But you never know. Depending on how it does, there's a few different applications we could put this in. The other worst case scenario, or plan B, is to take the Beetle. And we have nitrous on the Beetle now, but the nitrous is kind of unreliable because you use so much of it. Like even when we double entered in Provost, by about the 4th hit, like you had basically no nitrous left. And every pass we kept getting slower because the bottle pressure kept going down. So this would be a lot more reliable, but this might be a little big. They do have a smaller turbo that is, I think it's rated up to like from 1.5 to 4 liters is their rating on it. So maybe, and I just get one of them, and they're only $165 or $169, so they're even cheaper. So maybe the Beetle just gets one of them. Maybe I buy 2 of those and they go on the V12 eventually. Maybe I put 2 of these on the V12. You never know. I could put it on my truck, but I'm not going to. As much fun as a Turbo LS is, I just want my truck to be a truck. But I will find somewhere to use at least one of these turbos. And I'm pretty excited. It's just a shame I have to wait so long to use it. But anyway, we'll get back to cutting up this axle. So there we go. After struggling with batteries not charging and dying fast because, you know, free grinder, we got it cut. I have a little bit to take off this end, but it does slide together nice and straight. So I'll have to clean up all these cuts a little bit once I have a charged battery of any sort. I'll put a buffing wheel on. Well, first I'll cut this end to the right length. I'll put a buffing wheel on. I'll bevel all my cuts, and then we'll clean it up, slide it together, tack it up, and we'll get it to someone who knows what they're doing. But since I'm out of batteries and out of firewood, I think we're going to call it a night, and we'll attack this again. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how things go. Depends on the weather.